Good morning. We're now here at Lost Shore, who we partner with, on a lovely sunny May day. Just wanted to have a chat this morning as the next edition of our podcast, particularly as you're coming towards the end of your term as chair. You've obviously been involved in the board for a long time, spanning a number of decades, and me myself, I've been involved with judo for 4 years. Obviously worked with you very closely over the last 4 years, and there has been a lot of changes over those last 4 years as well, and this is a bit of an opportunity today to reflect back on your period as a director and also the role as chair and what that involves and how our relationship is and the kind of the workings of the board and the staff together. So yeah, I guess you obviously got involved in the board a long time ago, so can you reflect back to what your initial reason for joining the board was at that time?
Yeah, so the background for me was I was a young boy from Gilmerton, took up judo, and then judo gave me the platform to take me abroad, to see different cultures. It was really good for me as an individual, and also I met my wife through judo, ultimately my children, and business-wise as well. So judo itself has been fantastic for Marc Preston, wonderful sport, and gave me a platform to succeed in life. And I think ultimately when I got to my I think it was mid-30s, with 33, 34, I thought it was time to put something back into the sport. And for me, it was really important. For a sport that's been so good to me, I wanted to give something back. And our good friend Rick Kenny came to me, and it just seemed the right thing to do, get involved as a director of JudoScotland.
That's really interesting as well that it was when you were in your mid-30s, because I guess one of the challenges that we tend to find across, not just in JudoScotland, but a lot of boards, is younger people not necessarily stepping forward. So I think that's a really key thing as well. I'd love to see younger people out there with different skills, experiences. It's really important that we've got a diverse board, all ages, different experiences in life to help shape the workings of the organisation. We've obviously, well, I'm assuming you've enjoyed it because you've been on the board for a very long time. So tell us a wee bit about the journey over your period as a director.
So I came on the board initially for 3 years and decided to step down at that point as just commitments and the situation at that particular time. And I think I've been on for the last couple of decades or whatever. And the journey for me was director, vice chair for forever. And then chair, which I never expected to ever be chair. It's not something that's particularly desired or whatever, but for me it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour to serve JudoScotland.
And that period from you being chair has been the same period that I've been in as chief executive officer. And during your term as chair, we've actually made some quite big governance changes, which ultimately means that you are coming to the end, irrelevant of whether you choose to or not. But some of those changes that we've made in terms of director lengths, tenure lengths, can you maybe chat a wee bit about the importance of that or why you think that's the right thing?
So myself and you highlighted from day one that governance had to be absolutely perfect. And we worked really hard. Actually, I'd say the first couple of years was governance, articles, constitutions, and fixing things that we thought would put us in a better place. And I believe it has put us in a better place. The governance part, so give you some sort of background, is when you first came aboard, we were given a non-satisfactory from KPMG, our auditors external, and due to our governance and getting things, in my personal belief, correct, has strengthened where we are, and it ultimately led to us being National Governing Body of the Year in the time we've together. and the governance part was essential in that.
Yeah.
And not only was it essential, our relationship with Sport Scotland has grown and grown and grown because they clearly see that we've actually did the right things on that journey.
And it's difficult because I think that in a sport, you're a membership organisation, people often don't see the workings behind the scenes. The investment you've referred to, Sport Scotland, our major stakeholder and investor in the sport. A lot of compliance elements that are there for the right reasons. So we have a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and not always the glamorous bits either.
No.
Around safeguarding, safe sport, finance auditing, the general governance elements. Maybe chat a wee bit about what it looks like on a sort of day-to-day basis, I suppose, or a week-to-week basis, the role as a chair, and the importance of that as well.
Yeah, so chair, so first of all, when I got involved in chair, I thought probably it was more a figurehead position. That is absolutely not the case now at all. Companies have changed and associations have changed. It's a much more hands-on position, making sure we're all aligned to going forward. Your commitment would also be for British Judo as the home nation's representative. So you've got your prep for your meetings, board meetings, you prep for the national government body, etc., and British Judo as well. And then I think for me, you need to be visible, you need to be seen, you need to go to events, you need to be people to have that connection that can come and talk to you at any point. Any high profile meetings, you've got to be there for that. So I suppose overall I would suggest that it's a huge commitment to be a chair of Judo Scotland today.
Yeah, and I think the operational elements ultimately sit with the chief executive, and the strategic elements and the governance elements ultimately overall sits with the board. So that relationship between the CEO and chair is very, very important, and I don't doubt for 1 minute that I have required some more of that support with it being my first chief exec role as well. So I think that relationship is very, very important, being able to understand that the vision that we have to bring the board and the staff together. And also, I know that we work as a team, and I think that's really important. It was one of the first things you ever said to me, that let's not have a relationship that's almost like a hierarchical structure. Let's try to work together. And I think you have to have open, honest conversations, and we don't always agree. We have, differences of opinions on certain things, but I think it's always a healthy way to go around that. Because we always do come to conclusions that bring the board and the staff together, and that importance of being the figurehead for the organisation in terms of visibility as well is an important one. There are also, we've talked about the not so glamorous bits, there are some really glamorous bits to the role as well. Able to go and represent Judo Scotland and an organisation in which there have been huge achievements, athletes who we're really proud of, some incredible work across communities. So I know that just before Christmas you were joined by Richard Marsh and Tony Penfold to go along to the Scottish Sports Awards. So John D'Ambrosio being recognised as Disability Coach of the Year in Scotland. Elements like that must make you feel really proud, and I guess does that offset some of there must be good days and bad days?
I think the bit that you said there, which is absolutely crucial, is the relationship between your CEO and the chair. It's essential. So first of all, it's good if you like each other, and I think we like each other. I think it's really important that we have the same values, and I think we have the same values. I think it was your first position as CEO, and it was my first chair, and we've grown together. And what I would say about that whole area, Judith, is you've always looked after me, and I think I've always looked after you, and I think that's important. And your strengths are sometimes my weaknesses, and my strengths are sometimes your weaknesses. And I think the complement between us and our relationship working has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and we look after each other. And so that bit you're on about, for me, is absolutely essential, that we have that tight, close relationship. Yeah, and as for your second part about, of course, it's been a wonderful journey. Of course, there's been wonderful highlights for me, personally and as a collective. National Governing Body Year, you mentioned going to the King's Garden parties, going to the Emperor of Japan's birthday parties and stuff. So yeah, there is wonderful bits to it that are exceptional, that you're blessed to actually be invited to. So yeah, the journey's been, of course, sometimes tough, but also good.
And I think you're somebody that in life you want to go very fast paced, and sometimes organisations, it takes a bit longer. We have processes to go through, and I know that there are maybe elements that both of us would like to have achieved by now that we maybe necessarily haven't. So what do you see as the kind of key things for Judo Scotland in the next strategic cycle, or the areas that you'd love to see even after you've stepped down? What would you like to see for Judo Scotland?
Yeah, so first of all, when I step down, I'll always be here. That's important. I'm a patriot of JudoScotland and always will be. The next cycle, what I would like to see, very similar to yourself, I'd like to see female participation grow. I think we're at high 20s or something at the moment, but is that possible in the next cycle to get to 40%? I think that would be an absolute joy to see. I personally, the part that I'm disappointed I wasn't able to deliver is the potential of having a facility for our high performance to like a world-class university. That would be something I would love to have completed. We've started that cycle, as you know, we've started that journey, and I hope we fulfil it, because I think that the athletes, deserve to have world-class facilities, accommodation, the nutrition part, facilities around them, and essentially the choice to have education or further themselves as young individuals as well. For me, that's essential. So looking forward, if we could get the female percentages up, and if we can get that wrap around world-class facility for our young athletes, I think it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, well, it certainly would. And there's a couple of things you've mentioned I just want to touch on. You talked about the sort of day-to-day, you feel like we have almost like a daily check-in between us, and moving ahead to the next chair. I think there are elements where I would hope that we are looking at how we don't put so much reliance on the chair. With the board portfolios that we've now brought in, we've got a much wider diversity and skill set within the directors, having brought in some more independent directors over the last few years as well, which I think strengthens the organisation. I think it's really important to have people from the judo community and also have people external, because you do get some different perspectives. So I think that's been really important, and the board portfolios will allow, hopefully, to reduce that pressure on the chair. I think at the moment there has been a lot that the chair role manages directly, that actually ultimately, hopefully, these new portfolios will allow directors to work in pairs against different strategic options of the plan. So moving forward, I hope that's something that we can support. And then also moving ahead into when we have a new chair later on this year, it was great just to hear that you're not just going to step away completely, you'll always be there. So something we've not really talked about, but when there is a new chair in place, are you happy to provide some transitional support and be there during what can be a really, for whoever that individual is, it may be the first time they've stepped into that role, it may not be, but certainly it'll be the first time for them, for Judo Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, I think crucially, the way, thus as we're talking right now, we're looking succession right now. We want this position filled in well before the position so that me and the new chair can work together. I want to help and want to be supportive. I don't see that stopping purely when I step down on 1st of November. I would expect to be on call 24/7 for the next 12 months minimal. That's the truth. And I think that's the way it should be. But I mean, I think one of the proudest things that we've done as an organisation, Judith, is that we made it 2 4-year terms. Okay, so to understand that, what that means is that rather than myself being involved for 20, 25 years, whatever plus, I don't think that's good for any organisation. It's one of the initial things that we changed, because fresh people, fresh ideas, new ideas, younger folk is essential. And I think that's one of the proudest things that I can say. And not only did we say it was an 8-year term maximum, we actually said that we'd all done 4 years before to make this process faster.
I think that was great. From my point of view, there are some board members that have since retired from their positions that were in post when I started, but we had the full support of the board back in 2022, which I think made it so much easier. For me coming in, we had a business audit there trying to align with UK Sport Code of Governance, and everybody was on board. And I think that's been one of the beauties for me the whole way through the strategic planning for Judo for All. The staff and the board were completely united together in how we face that. So that's been a really important thing. And the other thing you've not mentioned is that it's an open recruitment for the incoming chair. And again, you've talked about you've given a bit of a flavour of some of the elements that the chair does. And it's not a figurehead, just a figurehead of the organisation. There are some critical decisions to get made. It's a business, and we have a turnover of about 1.4 million. There's a lot of auditing elements, compliance standards that must be adhered to. The chair has a role and a duty to fulfil that. So the skill sets that we're looking for are quite wide and varied. And I think that was also one of the reasons why it's important that we've gone to an open recruitment as opposed to an election through the membership necessarily. So maybe, I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit and what your feelings on that are.
I think it was crucial, and the difference between how I was voted on was a popular vote from the clubs. Do you necessarily have the skills? Can you do the job? That's a question you'd ask always on a popular vote. The actual interview system we've now put in place is essential, because we need somebody who has all the relevant skills, all the relevant qualifications to drive us forward. It can't just be luck off the draw. And I believe that 100% us having this interview system with a new chair puts us in the best position to be successful, and eliminates any risk factor which we have had. And when you're saying good governance, I believe this is excellent governance, and I'm very, very confident going forward that the next person who takes the job will do a fantastic job, because we will know what skill sets they bring in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we are also, it's what happens in the majority of other sports. We've gone through a really transitional phase, but I also think it's a really exciting time as well. We've got the Commonwealth Games upcoming very, very soon. We're on a real journey around a lot of steps that we've taken through Judo for All, a lot of the Judo Girls Rise programmes. We see lots of clubs doing really new initiatives, different ways of trying to reach new communities. The increased investment into sport through as a bit of a result on the Running on Empty campaign is really good news for sport. So I hope that it's a really exciting period for the board and for Judo Scotland.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Totally.
And thank you for all your time and for having a conversation with us this morning.
And I would like to thank you personally for looking after me over this period of time and making my position as chair a joy. Thank you.
Thank you.